The first 10 days of school can feel like a mad scramble, especially if you're teaching multiple preps. You're juggling new students, new routines, and maybe even a new subject. And if you're anything like I was, you either overplan and burn yourself out before Labor Day, or you underplan and spend your days scrambling for what's next.
Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Kristen Masick, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher.
When I think back to my early years, I was always excited to go back to school. I loved the fresh start, the clean planner, the feeling that this was going to be the year I got it all right. But here's the thing. I never had a good sense of how long things would take, especially in those first few days. I'd set up this beautiful first day plan in my head only to blow through it in 15 minutes. Then I'd be stuck doing the one thing I swore I'd never do, reading the syllabus line by line just to fill time. They worked because they were flexible. I could stretch them if we had time or cut them short if we didn't. The Lego Hotel, just to give you a little bit of background, was this hands-on problem-solving activity that was great for building teamwork and creativity. But here's the catch. There's one fastest way to complete it, and I would have my students, we would time ourselves. We would write it up on the board. We would look at it from the different class periods, whoever had it. So if a student had done it before in one of my other classes, they'd already know the answer. That meant I couldn't repeat it across all of my preps, regardless of whether or not I felt like it was a great activity, without creating watchers instead of participants. So if they were in my class the second time or third time that they were in there, I couldn't put them on a team. I didn't want them to accidentally know the way to build the fastest hotel and then share that information with their new team. So suddenly I was planning 5 different first day activities. Not exactly sustainable when you're already juggling multiple preps. So it took me years to realize the power of using activities that could run in every class, regardless of the subject, without worrying that students who would already know the outcome. That one shift alone could have saved me so much time and stress. And here's another trap I fell into: front-loading everything. I would spend those first few days telling students all my rules, routines, and procedures instead of teaching them in the moment when they actually needed them, which is a much better strategy. It's a whole lot of talking and not a lot of doing when you do it the way that I was previously doing it. So by now you're probably wondering, okay, how do I make the first 10 days smoother? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose accordion activities you can reuse across preps. So accordion, so you think about it, can be like small or it can be large. So I want you to pick activities that can expand or shrink depending on time and that work with any group. So Would You Rather is one of my favorites. It sparks discussion, it builds relationships, and doesn't have a single right answer. That means you can use it across all your preps without extra planning or prep work. And this is even if you're using the same questions. You can add questions, you can take them away. You can use those questions throughout the school year whenever you have time to fill. So that is one of my favorite things to do. Find some sort of accordion activity that you can reuse across all of your preps. Number 2, teach routines when they're relevant. Instead of rattling off every procedure on day 1, teach them just in time. When students bring back their first assignment, then go over how to turn it in. When they miss a day, then walk them through your makeup work system. This approach respects their brain space, it keeps you from wasting time, and means you only have to explain it when they actually need it. Thus, hopefully, they retain it a little more, and then they don't have to figure out what your policy is versus the teacher next door. Number 3, Use introduce, practice, produce from day one. This framework will help keep you grounded. So introduce, you set the stage for the skill, concept, or activity. Practice, give students a chance to try with your guidance. And produce, let them show what they've learned independently or collaboratively. It's simple and it works at the unit, lesson, and even class period level. And best of all, it keeps you from overcomplicating those first few days while still giving students structure. Number 4, protect your planning time from bad habits. In my early years, I would have my first week's copies made and lessons planned. And then instead, I'd wander the building, stop by the office, and get caught chatting with the secretaries. And the problem? I didn't realize I was setting habits. So later in the year, when I really needed my planning period, my brain was already trained to fill it in with other people's priorities instead of my own. That's exactly why I created the Planning Period Reset Toolkit to help you start the year with good habits that stick. It's a clear checklist you can use to clear distractions before you start, refocus after interruptions, and end each planning period knowing you finished something that actually matters. So if you want your first 10 days to feel calm instead of chaotic, start simple, reuse activities, teach routines in the moment, and lean on introduce, practice, produce, and protect your planning time. You can grab the Planning Period Reset Toolkit free in the show notes. It's exactly the checklist I'd wished I'd had to keep me on track, especially in those first few weeks when everything feels new. Until next time.